How's it going? I'm Anthony, and these are stories of my life. For those of you just joining us for the first time, these videos are a cognitive therapy tool for me. I've taken some head injuries over the years, my memory has been failing me, and the doctors have suggested I make these videos to preserve the memories I still have, as well as inspire some of you all who are involved in these events to provide me with details I have lost or otherwise remind me of events I've completely forgotten, in which case then I can either remake an old video with the new details or make a whole new video for you and go from there. So I'm sure you get the idea. At any rate, building off of the last video, the events of this one would take place from the beginning of 1993 to about the middle of 1993. I would have been 15 years old, having just turned 15 on January 3rd, and though I would have technically been in my second semester of my sophomore year at Riverside Polytechnic High School in Riverside, California, I was homeless, living on the street, and had completely abandoned school altogether. I had been this way since about the beginning of January, probably within a couple of days of my birthday. So yeah. If you're not sure how I got to this point, please go back, watch the last 3, maybe 4 videos, and it'll kind of put it into perspective as to, what transpired and whatever else. But yeah. So, beginning in 1993, I'm homeless. I'm sleeping anywhere I can find a place to put my head, and primarily doing it in or around the Canyon Crest Town Center in Riverside. And the reason I had chose that area, I had mentioned in the previous videos, was resources. It had everything up there that I needed to stay comfortable, stay alive, and whatever else. More than that, I had made friends in the area. And the friends I had were some big, scary fucking dudes that were into some questionable shit. And there was a lot of us. Now, a good part of the group was just scary as fuck. And there was others that were iffy. But all were like-minded individuals trying to help each other make some extra money. We weren't really a gang per se. We didn't have a name or a color or any of that crap. There's just scary, scary dudes that, yeah, you get the idea. I liken them to modern day gangsters of the time rather than gang bangers. Ages, I was the youngest of the group. I was only 15. They actually referred to me as the Kid, and that was my nickname, the Kid, like Billy the Kid or some shit. But yeah, the Kid. And the next oldest of the group was my closest friend at the time, Jason Allen Evans, and everybody referred to him as JJ. That was his nickname. I was the only one that called him Jason. And I was the only one that he allowed to call him Jason. Everybody else, JJ. Everybody else in the group, the ages varied. We had guys in their 30s, maybe even 40s that took on different roles. Some of them, some of these guys were just freaking scary. Former military guys. Yeah, scary dudes. But anyway, Jason was, I don't want to say he was one of the leaders of the group, but he was one of the more influential, more charismatic, and he was also one of the more intelligent guys in the group. So when he had an idea or recommended that we do, or even not do something for that matter, the group tended to listen and go with it. Me being 15, they probably wouldn't have included me in the group, but because of Jason, they did. And there was also one event that kind of got me a measure of reputation. One night, we were out doing something, and I had tagged along with Jason and like 4 or 5 other guys to do whatever they needed to do. Now, the group that I was in primarily was involved with dealing marijuana. Now, dealing weed back then was a big deal, really big deal. The United States was in the middle of this war on drugs type of deal, and it primarily revolved around trying to stop the distribution of marijuana. And so that's what they did. And nowadays, nobody gives a crap about marijuana, but like I said, back then it was a big deal. There was a lot of money in it, but because of all that, it was dangerous. It was dangerous work, high risk work as far as the police goes. You had to worry about that. But then everybody else was in it. Every gang, every organized crime group, you name it, they were all involved in it. So it could be dangerous work depending on what part of it you were involved in. But anyway, one night we were out doing something, and I don't remember, to be completely honest. And after it was all said and done, we were exhausted. We had been running or whatever. Things didn't quite go the way we wanted. We got back to the truck and we're driving. And I remember Matt was in the driver's seat. Jason was passenger seat, sitting shotgun. And we had like 4 or 5 of us all in the back of the truck because we had a shell on it. And we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. We were just starving, dehydrated, you name it. And I didn't have any money, so I couldn't buy anything. And somebody got the brilliant idea of doing a beer run. And everybody agreed. So the plan was that we were going to find a gas station. All of us were going to go into the gas station, steal whatever beer that we wanted, and run out. And that somebody would be waiting in the parking lot to stop whoever would come running out. And the notion was that could either be just faking a lack of involvement, like, bump into them, knock them over, oh crap, I'm sorry, what happened? And then everybody gets away. Or physically, knock dude out and then go. Jason initially had said that, he didn't care what we did. He had money, he was going to buy food or something. And, but everybody else was all involved. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm hungry, I need food. So we get to said gas station. I'm all pumped. Let's go do this. And all the other guys in the back just chicken out, as does Matt, the driver. And he chickens out too. And I'm like, come on, guys, let's go get food. I'm freaking starving, right? Like, come on, let's go do this. You guys have been talking about this whole time. It was your idea. You guys planned it out. We took the time to find the right gas station, and here we are. Let's make this happen. Let's do this. But they wouldn't do it. They would not physically get out of the freaking truck. And I was livid. I started running my mouth, talking some mad shit to everybody in the vehicle, except Jason. Because Jason was like, if you guys want to go, let's go. If you don't, let's don't. So, talking shit to everybody else in the truck. Finally, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go by myself. So I get out of the truck and I start to walk towards the gas station. And as soon as I did that, Jason jumped out, started to follow me, but then goes, you know what? Wait a minute. Anthony, come here. So he pulls me back to the truck. He opens up the back of the truck and yells at every single person in the freaking vehicle, just yelling at them, cussing them out, just all kinds of stuff. Basically saying, you guys are the biggest bunch of fucking pussies. He said, you guys are the ones that came up with all this. You guys are the ones that planned this out. Now the fucking kid has more balls than all of you combined. You know what, Anthony? You go in there. You want some beef jerky, you go get some beef jerky. You want a soda, Dr. Pepper, whatever, go get it. And you come back out. Anybody follows you, they're going to have a bad day. I was, oh, Jesus. So now I kind of don't want to do it because I don't want anybody to get shot. But at the same time, I can't say, yeah, I don't want to do it now because, yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go in, grab whatever I need, and, I'll tell the guy, don't follow me out. And I asked Jason on the way in, you want anything? He says, you know what, grab me a 40. And I go walking in the store. Not 30 seconds after I get in the store, all the other idiots follow me in. I'm like, oh my God, now you guys are going to do this? So I walk over, I grab some beef jerky, grab a Dr. Pepper, 1 liter, grab Jason a 40 of Bud Light or something like that. And I start to walk out, and all these other guys grab all this beer and go running out the door. The cashier was some kid, I think in his 20s. And he's like, no, and he starts to chase them out of the building, and I stop him. I was like, whoa, bro, slow down. Like, it would behoove you not to follow everybody out. And he goes, what? And I was like, I need you to trust me. If you value your life, please do not follow us out. And he says, okay. And he backs up behind the counter. I said, just trust me. And call the police if you need to. Just trust me. And he's like, all right, and I'll walk out. And walk back to the truck, hop in the truck, and take off. But apparently that got back to all the other bigwigs of the group, I guess you could say. And that was when I was kind of formally accepted because I had the guts, And there was a lot of other situations that had gone down, and I ended up earning this reputation of being the one with all the balls. Whenever they were doing a deal or whatever might have been going on, they would give me a gun, and because I was a sneaky bastard, I would be up on a roof or in a tree or something, hiding somewhere in case things went south, or just trying to make sure that whoever else we were working with didn't have their own people ready to ambush my friends. And if that was the case, or something went south, then it was my job to get involved and either handle it or persuade them not to get involved or to discontinue their efforts. I'm going to leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, so I earned this reputation just being the kid who was down for anything. And it was cool. I liked having that stigma. We had some girls in our group as well, and so they were kind of shocked by it, like, holy crap, this kid's got guts, And I don't even want to know that I had guts. I just didn't care about life anymore. So I was like, yeah, nothing scared me. I can remember Jason having to go collect money from somebody who had screwed him over, stolen something from him, and owed him money. And Jason gave me the details, and yeah, it was a bad dude. And Joe Hudson happened to be at the Canyon Crest Town Center when this happened, and Joe went with me. I don't know why he wanted to go, but he went with me. And so if you know him, talk to him, he can verify all of this. And Joe went with me, and Jason and I get to this apartment. Jason hands me a gun. We stand by the door. Jason kicks in the door. Door flies open. He goes in. We both clear the house. And at this point, Jason's like, okay, good. He's not home. I was hoping he wouldn't be. And so he starts looking around to see if this guy had Jason's money or whatever it was. But then he didn't see it anywhere in the house. It wasn't anywhere in the house. So Jason's like, all right, well, then I got to make it even, because I don't want to keep following this guy and trying to collect. So he took something from me. I'm going to take something from him. Jason went around and smashed up the guy's entire apartment, broke his TVs, or actually broke all kinds of stuff, mirrors, windows, you name it, smashed in walls. But the funniest thing about it was there was this old TV that was one of those turn dial TVs, just crappy thing, that this guy had sitting on a chair in one of the rooms. And Jason had let the guy borrow the TV. And so Jason was supposed to get it back. So it was the only thing in the apartment that Jason did not break. If it was a tile, it was broken. If it was anything, it was broken. If it could be broken, it was broken. Every wall ended up with a hole in it, you name it. Except for this freaking TV. But yeah, so that was that. God, I can remember another night, to scare the hell out of somebody else. We did a drive-by on the house, but we didn't shoot the house. We didn't shoot anybody. We actually shot over the house into this field. And as we were driving by in this van, and then they later called him and said, you heard that, right? Did you want it to be different? And then dude paid up, because he's trying to snake out on Jason and all them. And the one big one that I can remember also that was interesting was I had finally been invited to go with another group of guys in that group. And these guys were really, really scary dudes. Anthony, I remember, was driving the van, and we had Scott, Jason, Pulley, and a couple other dudes. And these guys are really scary. The guys that were at the beer run had nothing on these guys. So we end up driving to LA. I don't remember why. They didn't tell me. Like I said, it was one of those, let's not tell the kid, because if something happens, he's a minor, maybe they'll cut him some slack. And so they didn't tell me why, but we were in LA, not just LA, but in some ghetto, scary part of LA for some sort of transaction that needed to take place. And all of us were armed to the teeth. I mean, every one of us armed to the teeth. Things didn't quite work out the way we wanted. I don't remember precisely why that was the case, but things ended up going a little haywire. And before we knew it, we were trying to get away from said group of people, but also trying not to get caught by the cops, because the cops were trying to figure out what was going on. Shots fired, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're in this car chase where we're being chased by people. I didn't know who they were. I don't know if it was a gang or what, but we ended up finally losing them. And I don't know where we were. We might have been out in like Lancaster, Palmdale or something, but we were out in the middle of freaking nowhere by the time we lost these people. And we were out of gas, completely out of gas. And we had pulled the van over on the side of this road. I remember there was nothing on the left. It was late at night. It was pitch black on the left. But up ahead on the right, there was a light with a little gas station. And it was only like 2-3 pumps maybe. And had a little store attached to it. And like I said, I don't remember where we were, but we could see that up ahead. And so finally, they're like, guys, we're out of gas. And wouldn't you know it, none of us had any money. Just weird as that is, nobody had any money. And debit cards weren't a thing back then, so it's not like we could really just pull out the debit card and rock and roll. But so we were out of money, out of gas, out in the middle of nowhere, and we had people looking for us that were going to kill us if they found us. So they're trying to figure out how we're going to handle this scenario. And before anybody else could come up with any ideas, I jumped up and I was like, I got this shit. I left whatever guns they had given me there, got out of the van, shut the door. I said, just stay here. Do not turn the lights on. Do not move. Just stay here. So I start walking towards this gas station. And I didn't know what I was going to do yet. I just knew I was going to make it happen, I was hoping there would be somebody at this gas station that was going to be filling up by the time I got there, or maybe there's somebody inside that I could turn on my 15-year-old charm as a kid and politely ask them for money because we run out of gas or whatever it might have been, and just see what I could get. Lo and behold, I get to the gas station and there's nobody there. And I go walking into the little store to see who's in there, and there's some guy at the counter, behind the counter, and another one actually at the counter talking to him. And I walk in, they see me, and they're immediately both just total jerks to me as I walk in. So I'm like, well, okay, so much for asking them for money. And I tried to be as polite as I could. So I walk around the store and I'm like, okay, how do I handle this? How do I make this happen? And then I happen to notice, and I feel horrible about this, but my head, it was a life or death situation, because if we didn't get out of there and people found us, that would have been it. So I look over at the cash register and I see one of those donation boxes sitting there at the front. And it's pretty well full. And it's got bills in it. I can see $5 bill in it, $10 bill in it, and then who knows how many other bills were there, plus all of the change. And it was a good sized box. And so I grab a couple things. like I'm going to pay for them. And I walk up to buy whatever this is, and the guy he's talking to steps aside so I can be rung up because he wants to stay and shoot the shit. So I set the stuff down, and as the guy grabs it and starts turning his attention towards the register to ring it up, I kind of tap the donation box with my hand to see how sturdy it was planted to the register, or the desk that the register was on. And I realize it's just put down with some Velcro. So as soon as I realize it's put down with some Velcro, I grab it, I rip it off, and I just run out the door. And the other guy had kind of turned his head away, so he didn't see me do it right away. The guy behind the counter was busy, so I grabbed it. I had a couple seconds. I got out that door, and I ran into the darkness as fast as I possibly could. And just was gone. I can hear them yelling, "Hey, get back here!" And I just gone. I get out from the darkness, and when I realized I wasn't being followed, because they had run outside, but they didn't know where I went. As soon as I realized I wasn't being followed, I walked or jogged back to the van, and I handed them the box. Everybody in the van, the box. And they were like, "Holy crap, kid, how did you do this?" I kind of explained it to them briefly. They managed to crack the thing. Things are actually sealed a little bit tighter than you'd realize. It took them a while to get it open, but they eventually got it open, cracked it open, got all the money out of it. And then I got in the van, and I hid in the van. And I shit you not, we drove the van up to the exact same gas station that was right there, filled up with gas from their gas station, and then drove home. And I got all the props in the world for coming up with that and doing it. And Jason, as stupid as it was, Jason just was looking at me just proud, just absolutely proud that I had pulled that off. You know, and I was just a kid. You know, I was the kid, but I had pulled that off. And yeah, because they were freaking out. When I got back to the van, they were all guns out, worried about who would come up. Oh man, yeah, we ended up got home safe. Everybody was giving me kudos, and yeah, it was interesting. But I mean, I felt bad about that to this day. Every time I go into a gas station now, if I have any kind of spare change, I always put it in those things, just hopefully trying to make up the karma on that. But whether I ever will enough, I don't know. But yeah, we were into some hairy shit, so that's all I can say. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and if you have any memories of me around that time frame, please let me know. Any details I missed, let me know. Yeah. Thank you.